But right now, we're going to talk some Commanders and more with our pal Scott Abraham, sports director at ABC7. What's up, Scott?
Good morning, fellas. Happy Friday.
Scott.
What's this time of year like for you? It's slow in the sports world, but you're gearing up for training camp and everything. What's it like for Scott Abraham?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of extra family time. Daughter's doing some summer swim, doing some Olympic stories with all of our Olympic athletes competing in Paris. But for the most part, just kind of recharging the batteries for the grind that's coming up here.
It is a grind for you guys. Absolutely.
Are you out there every day once camp starts?
I'm basically there probably Monday through Friday, and then my colleague, teammate Natalie, usually handles the weekends. So I'm sure I'm probably there 5 days a week, whenever they have practice Monday through Friday. And then obviously they have a game or a preseason game on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll be there.
Let's hook up for a cocktail right after you get off the air. Make it a Friday, though.
Yeah.
Make it a Friday.
Scott,
right.
I live about 5 minutes from.
Are you guys going up to? Are you guys going up to the happy hour, by the way, on Monday?
We are.
Jason,
Well, Cakes and I are going to be there.
I'll be in the Bahamas.
Love it. All right. See you there.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
So give us your take on the Jason Wright announcement before we get into sort of the team and things to look forward to. What's his legacy? I know you had I don't want to say a run-in, but I mean you and Jason had an incident that got some attention.
We had our disagreements. How's that?
Yeah.
No, certainly. I mean, it's not a surprise, guys. I mean, you look at this new ownership and this new era; they kind of want to cleanse themselves of anything resembling Dan Snyder, and Jason was the last major hire in the Snyder era, and certainly you can say that Jason was in a very tough situation. He had a lot of stuff to clean up with the rebrand. He certainly had his missteps. But what I appreciated about Jason is he was always very fan-friendly publicly, like at events, at games, at training camp. Really always saw him mingling with the fans. And, certainly some of the fan base did not like the rebranding process and the Sean Taylor statue and the rollout. But again, it was a tough spot in a lot of ways for Jason. And I think it's a situation where Josh Harrison Company, they want a fresh start. They want to bring their people in. And I don't blame them. When you buy an asset for $6 billion, you're going to bring in the people that you trust and that think can get the job done.
No question about it.
Yep.
So let's get to on the field. Actually, before we get to on the field, since you're there all the time, is it noticeable, like the energy difference between the Ron Rivera era and the start of this Dan Quinn era, or is too much said about those type of things?
No, there's a noticeable difference. I mean,
Really?
there's some pop, there's some juice. Just the energy from the coaching staff and the coaches. It's really awesome to see how it's almost like a player's coach mentality is. They're bringing the energy and they're kind of setting the foundation at the start of practice with this bags drill where I'm sure you've seen the video where the coaches gather around and the players, do high stepping over the dummy bags on the ground, and they're cheering and hooting and hollering. And it's really good to see the players are buying in. Certainly energy and atmosphere, that's one part of this big puzzle. Winning cures all, but it's nice to see just the change of the vocalness and how these coaches are approaching this team.
When you were out there and just watching Jayden, obviously everyone's focusing on Jayden, but does he kind of take command of the huddle, take command of the offense? What's his persona out there when it comes to working without all these other guys? And now he'll be working with the veterans, full time here starting in a week.
Well, he's certainly getting rave reviews. Like I'm no expert of commanding a huddle, but I listen to what Cliff Kingsbury says. I listen to what Dan Quinn says, and what they're telling the media is he gets it. He's got a great handle of the playbook. He's coming in, asserting himself, owning the huddle. Even Austin Eckler went out of his way and praised Jayden and how he's handling the huddle and handling certain situations. For a rookie, guys, it's really tough to do. That transition from college and the NFL, it's never easy. I mean, there aren't a lot of C.J. Strouds out there that come in and set the league on fire. Yeah, certainly these are glorified walkthroughs, and they're just in helmets and a jersey, but so far so good. the jury's still out. I want to see when the bullets start flying, when it's live, when it's 11 on 11, full pads, when he's in the preseason. And yes, Joe Theismann, he better be playing in some preseason games. But I think he's going to be really tested here in the next month or so, leading up to September's opener.
So, Scott, this news just broke from Sam Fortier's Twitter about a minute ago, at Sam4TR. He said the Commanders placed defensive tackle Johnny Newton foot on the non-football injury list. According to the team, Newton can return at any time during training camp in the preseason, but clearly not the start they were looking for when they drafted Newton in the second round out of Illinois. How do you think this plays out in training camp and into the season?
So yes, there's concerns there. He's had surgery on both of his feet, but the fact that they had depth at the position with Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, don't forget about Fedarian Mathis, I don't want Washington to rush this. This dude is a talent. This dude has shown he can play at the highest level. He dominated Big Ten football. He was a stud at Illinois. I was very surprised he was there in the second round. Obviously, there were some red flags with his foot and his injury, but they're going to play this smart. There's no need to rush him, and I think they're going to roll him out when he's ready. And whenever that is, I've seen him numerous times during OTAs and minicamp, even though he can't be live doing drills. He's on the stationary bike going at it, putting his work in. So he's got the right mindset, and I think he's going to be an asset in addition to this defense. I know Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr., they love this dude, so I think they're going to take their time with Johnny Newton.
Do you like where they are heading into camp? How do you rate their off season?
I'm very encouraged. So I've been covering this team for 9 years now, and this is probably the most encouraged I am with the direction of this franchise, with just the feel and the vibe of this franchise. Okay, the big question is going to be the quarterback. Have they finally found the answer to the quarterback position? Jayden Daniels did his thing in the SEC, Heisman Trophy winner. All the signs are there that this guy could be that franchise player. And I think complementary, the pieces around him, I like the Austin Eckler signing. I think Zach Ertz, a veteran tight end, he's going to help with the offense. Defensively, you got to talk about Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, in some of the draft picks, Mikey Sanderstill, Brandon Coleman. I think he's the X factor. If he hits, that's a whole franchise-altering left tackle that you don't have to go overpay in free agency or go back in the draft. So I'm encouraged, guys. I know it's August right now. Talk to me in week 5, week 6, and see where they're at. But going into this thing, I'm excited about what this team has.
Scott, I know it's early to forecast this, but what sort of role are we expecting from another rookie, Luke McCaffrey, in the offense? I know that it's flying under the radar because of all the talk about let's try to acquire Brandon Ayuk in a trade, pair him up with Jayden Daniels. But they spent a top 100 pick on McCaffrey. I'm guessing they have designs on utilizing him efficiently, maybe as a big slot player. How do you see that working out?
I mean, frankly, at this point, I don't want the baggage with Brandon Ayuk. And you're right with McCaffrey. And I use the word opportunity because the opportunity is there for Luke McCaffrey to get some playing time, to make some meaningful plays for this team in his rookie season. Because what does Washington have at wide receiver right now? Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. Those are the two sure bets. You lose Curtis Samuel. Okay, who's going to be that third guy? Is it going to be De'Ami Brown? Is he going to step up finally and maybe his last chance to make a mark here in Washington? Or is it going to be Luke McCaffrey, who has that DNA, who has that pedigree? We all know the stories with Ed McCaffrey, his father, his brother Christian McCaffrey. He certainly has that football IQ and the skill set. So I think there's the opportunity there for that slot position that Luke McCaffrey can be that Swiss Army knife type of player in that Cliff Kingsbury offense.
Do you like Cliff? Have you gotten to talk to him?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Do you like Cliff? Have you gotten to talk to him a little bit?
I do. I actually like his demeanor. He's really total opposite of Eric Bieniemy. Very laid back, very, kind of California cool type of vibe. He's not going to give you much in a press conference setting. And I think he is re-energized and himself rejuvenated. He was away from the NFL, and I think he sees an opportunity to work with another young quarterback like he did in Arizona with Kyler Murray, here in Washington with Jayden Daniels. I think he's fired up. I watch him on the practice field with the quarterbacks. He's doing all the drills, running around, wearing his Cool Joe hat out there to shade himself from the sun. But Cliff Kingsbury, total opposite demeanor-wise from Eric Bieniemy, but I think it's going to be good for this team.
Who is worse for this team? Who is overall going to go down worse, Ron or Bieniemy? Because I loathe both of them.
Oh, I would probably. That's a great question, EB.
I mean,
I'm gonna lean toward EB because I think he just totally mismanaged that offense, especially last year. And he was a pass happy, putting Sam Howell in some tough situations with a not a great offensive line, and the interceptions, the turnovers, and the lack of the running game and the lack of the balance. And I think that's what we're going to see this year with Cliff Kingsbury from an offensive standpoint, is finding that balance. EB, in my opinion, underutilized Brian Robinson Jr. I think Brian Robinson Jr. can be a really good running back in this league. And I think we're going to see that this year with Cliff Kingsbury, the guy in between the tackles, picking up 4 or 5 yards a carry. Then you pair him with an Austin Eckler, who's a touchdown machine. Again, I go back to the word encouraged. And I think this offense, which has struggled to score consistently in games the last several years, I think we're going to see some much more offensive production.
Well, that's what we're hoping for.
I'm
sure you've been hoping for it all 9 years you've been here. We've been hoping for it for 28, Scott.
I know, fellas. I know. Again, it goes back to the quarterback. Again, if he stays healthy, if he's the real deal, it's going to be a rocket ship in this town. And, it's a lot of pressure on the young man. But, there's nothing like, this town when the football team is good and the community, the town, the city gets around this football team. Dan Snyder is no longer here. Hopefully a new stadium is in the works. There are a lot of positives finally.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Jayden, the bar is so low. Like, Jayden can literally throw for 80 yards, but if he has a dazzling quarterback scramble or two for a touchdown and throws for another touchdown. He's has 2 touchdowns, but he throws for 120 yards. People are going to be thrilled.
People embrace Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, guys, because this is kind of the honeymoon period for everybody again. Give it 1 year with this whole new regime, Peters, Quinn, Jayden Daniels, do some tinkering in the offseason into next year if things don't go well. And you're right. The bar is low, and it's not going to take a lot for this fan base to get juiced up and crazy about this team again. And hopefully there are some moments and there's some winning moments during this upcoming year. Everybody can rally behind and get excited for the future.
August 10th. August 10th is the first preseason game against the Jets, I believe, right?
Yes. Jets, Miami, and then I forget who else is on the.
Where are you on the Joe Theismann argument of Jayden playing or not playing?
Oh, he wants him playing.
Yeah, I totally disagree with Joe Theismann. All due respect to Joe, but I think this kid, he needs to see those live reps when it's full throttle in an NFL preseason game. You can't put him in a security blanket. You got to allow him to grow, make mistakes, learn the speed, learn the reads. And that's only going to happen by getting some reps. I say first preseason game, maybe a quarter, second preseason game, maybe the first half, third preseason game, shut them down. So I want to see some reps in preseason games.
Should Tiger Woods retire?
Well, I don't even know what's going on with the Open right now. Who is it? Lowry still?
Yeah,
Lowry's tied still with Brown, I think. Yeah,
he's one up.
I saw what Monty said about Tiger. It's tough. Tiger deserves to go out on his own terms. Okay, so whenever he's ready, God bless him. He's earned it, and he's brought up a generation of fans and golfers into the sport. He's earned the right to make the decision for himself. That's not my choice. That's not our choice for him to push him out or say one way or the other. When he's ready, he deserves his own way of going out.
It's fair. Thanks a lot, Scott.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Have a great
see
weekend.
you guys on Monday.
Yep.
Yeah,
see you guys.
See you.
Yep.
Right,
Scott
bye.
Abraham is on the side of Tiger Woods. Our Scotty's Vodka poll of the day: should Tiger Woods retire? 50-50 split.
Hey, why do you want him to retire so bad?
I don't care.
You've asked every single person.
I asked the question. That doesn't. Where's my stance? I asked the question.
I don't think he cares.
I think JP's getting a kick out.
He's getting a kick out of him
Getting a
struggling.
kick out of him struggling, though.
I don't care. We have to do a poll of the day. It's just simply throwing it out there.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do a different poll. You changed it.
Yeah, just it's easier.
What was the other one you were going to do?
I think it had to do with building Legos.
Oh, that's right.
Like the whole toy.
Right.
What was the what did we call it? Kid morphing or
Kid
no?
Dalting.
Kid Dalting.
I'm out on kids.
It was just hard to write that poll question. So I went with the Tiger Woods.
No, here's the thing.
I have no problem with him playing.
I just want Tiger to care. Practice a little bit.
Yeah. You know, I've rooted for the old guys. Cakes is always anti-old guy. I wish Tom Watson had won the thing.
I know. I'm always
I'm
old
not
guy.
anti-old guy. I'm a realist as to they have very little shot at winning against the younger guys.
All I know
And
is I'm so
the numbers
glad
back me up.
I faded all my plays on my golf pools.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did that.
That's good. Good by you.
I'm making decent money because all the guys I picked for all my pools, including the one we did, they all suck.